Hey everybody, welcome back to Taz's Wig Closet at Wig Studio One, here to empower your wig journey. Today we're going to talk about lots of different blonde colors. And what has inspired this is the brand new color by Estetica called Sunlit Blonde. We're going to compare this to some random blondes in my wig closet today, just to give you some perspective on this brand new color coming up. The newest blonde to take the wig world by storm is Sunlit Blonde by Estetica. Wig style was sent to me by Wig Studio One for a previous review of this Sunlit Blonde by Estetica. Now the other blondes that I'm going to show you in my closet today, I have either purchased on my own or have been provided to me at some point for a review. You can find them all at Wig Studio One. Go below the video. I will attach a link to each of the featured wig styles. You can go out and take a look. I'll explore the pricing. If you have any questions for us, please reach out to support@wigstudio1.com. And I know that it's a lot easier to get a really good perspective on a color when you compare it to other similar colors on the market. I really feel like this Estetica Sunlit Blonde is the answer to some of the other popular blondes like Jon Renau's Palm Springs Blonde, Henry Margou's 10613, a couple by Belle Tress, even Gabor. We're going to take a look at those today against this Sunlit Blonde. But first, let me break down the Sunlit Blonde for you so you can have that information if you haven't already seen my video. So this Sunlit Blonde, the first color that kind of meets your eye is an icy platinum blonde. And that's highlighted with two colors that I can see. It's highlighted with a pale natural blonde, and then you have a lot of highlighting in there of a light sandy blonde. But it's just enough to give it a kiss of warmth. Now the sand that's in this is a neutral color. It is not warm, but next to the icy platinum of the main color, it kind of warms it up just a kiss. Now the other thing that I think is really unique about this color is the rooting. It's a light golden brown. Compared to some of the medium brown roots, I think it's really a prayer answered for us. Now this is the Estetica's Finn in that Sunlit Blonde. Finn is a lace front, open top, sides, and back style. So getting up close on this lace front, then you'll see that they did run this highlight right up to that lace front, so it's not all dark root. The knotting is fine. So the first and obvious choice to do a comparison here is with the Jon Renau's Palm Springs Blonde, which is FS17 101 S18. We're going to take a look at it back here on Julienne. Now this is the Petite Julienne. I do have a review on that, but we're going to take a look at the color. So here's that Palm Springs Blonde, which is an ash blonde, a medium ash blonde with some white highlighting. And that white highlighting has been toned with a violet toner. Not enough to make it any kind of shade of purple, just very, very cool. And then all of that on a light ash brown root. So you can kind of compare the roots there as well. Okay. Now next to the Sunlit Blonde, or let me say rather, the Sunlit Blonde next to the Palm Springs Blonde has a bit more warmth to it. So there's no real ash blonde in this Sunlit Blonde because it's a combination of icy platinum, beige, or natural and sand. So in this one, you're going to see lots of that medium ash blonde there, and then the white highlighting. This is going to give the Palm Springs Blonde maybe a little bit of a cooler look overall. It's hard sometimes to tell the difference, but you can definitely see some of the buttery warmth coming through on the Sunlit Blonde just because some of the sandy blonde next to the icy platinum. So let's go ahead and compare the 10613 GR to the Estetica's Sunlit Blonde. I have it back here on Kendall by Henry Margou. So So here's that 10-6-13 GR, and this is described as being more of a medium to dark ash blonde with some ash platinum highlighting. Okay. Now the ash platinum highlighting has a bit more chunkiness to it, and that little bit of a darker ash blonde gives this overall more dimension than the Palm Springs blonde. But compared then to the Sunlit blonde, it just seems a little cooler. I mean, I think it shares a lot of that same icy platinum between the two, but this has more of that darker ash where you're gonna see the lighter sandy beige and light natural blonde in the Sunlit blonde. Now the rooting on the 10-6-13 GR is a medium brown. I still think their rooting is done super well. Henry Margot always does a really nice job. And this still blends in very well, especially for all of the darker ash blonde pieces here. But you're definitely going to see a darker root on the 10-6-13. And so again here, the Sunlit blonde, as cool and icy as it is going to maybe read just a kiss of warmth, buttery warmth to it compared to the Henry Margot's 10-6-13 GR. So looking back here at my girls, the next one I want to compare to is Belle Trust color. I've actually have the Butterbeer blonde and the Root Beer float blonde. And I like the Root Beer float blonde as a comparison, maybe just a tad more, just because it's a cooler tone than the Butterbeer. But the Butterbeer is also neutral, leaning cool, and has some sandy blonde tones to it. So that's why I want to show you both. But first, let's start with the Butterbeer blonde. Butterbeer blonde is like a light sandy brown, dark sandy blonde, if you will. And then that's heavily highlighted with a platinum shade. Okay, lots of dimension there. It is neutral to cool in overall tone. Now you'll see that the dark sandy blonde tones here in the Butterbeer blonde are going to stand out a little bit more and appear darker than the sandy blonde notes in the Sunlit blonde here. And then again, just that medium brown root, light to medium brown root, and it's hard to tell in the camera. And then the Sunlit blonde, because that base color is more of an icy blonde, it's going to pop a little more. It's going to be brighter and lighter compared to the Butterbeer. Okay, so now let's take a look at the Belle Trust's Root Beer Float Blonde. I have it back here on Rosella. Here's the lovely Belle Trust Rosella in that Root Beer Float Blonde. Now, Root Beer Float Blonde has a lot of ash blonde in it, maybe a slight sandy notes to it, and that ash blonde is rather dark. In places, depending on the application. And then it's got a lot of platinum to it as well. Very cool in nature. And then when you compare that to the Sunlit blonde, the Sunlit blonde is going to be lighter, brighter, maybe a touch warmer, just a kiss warmer, but both of these are very cool. So I think next I want to take a look at the Noriko's Champagne R next to the Sunlit Blonde. So here's that Champagne R by Noriko. I look at it as being just a kind of an equal blending of some Champagne Blonde as well as some Platinum. And that Champagne Blonde does really read a little warmer next to that Platinum. And that's what happens when you take a neutral color and mix it in with a very cool color. It kind of gives it just a little bit of warmth, and that's what you're seeing here. A big difference here is that the rooting on the Champagne R is very, very dark in comparison to the colors. So it can be a little bit stark. Now, I feel like these two colors are actually really similar. What makes them similar is the Icy Platinum and the Champagne, which is kind of beigey. And the same thing here with the Sandy Blonde and Neutral Blonde into the Icy Platinum. Each of them you can spot a little bit of warmth. Again, that's all just perspective. But then the roots, big difference here, the lighter brown root on the Estetica and the dark brown on the Noriko. Okay, now I want to take a look at one of my all-time favorite colors next to the new Estetica Sunlit Blonde. That is the Shaded Biscuit by Raquel Welch. Any new blonde that comes out, this is kind of the measuring stick in which to compare, because we just love the Shaded Biscuit. Shaded Biscuit is warmer than compared to the Sunlit Blonde. Shaded Biscuit is a combination of some light sandy browns, dark sandy blonde. It has some honey tones in there, as well then as some platinum. Now the platinum really appears to be a highlight on this color, whereas this icy kind of platinum mix on the Sunlit Blonde tends to be the main color that meets your eye. Lots of dimension on the Shaded Biscuit, beautiful, and then more of a medium or darker root here on the Shaded Biscuit, as opposed to the lighter root on the Sunlit Blonde. Sunlit Blonde is going to be lighter, brighter, and appear to be more platinum, icier in tone compared to the Shaded Biscuit. There's a lot more variation and depth and dimension in the Shaded Biscuit as compared to the Sunlit Blonde. I just got done filming a review of the Biscotti Babe by Beltress in the color Bombshell Blonde. I wouldn't have thought to compare the Bombshell Blonde to this one, but let me tell you, they're really, really close. Just the mix of colors that would go into that. So let's pull that one out. This is, again, that Biscotti Babe in Bombshell Blonde. This is a 60, an 88, and a 101 with a light brown root. I don't have color codes, obviously, on the Sunlit Blonde, but as we explained, it's kind of an icy platinum, almost white color. And then that is tempered with the light sand and natural blonde. So on the Biscotti Babe, same thing. Your base color is going to be a 60, which is white. And then in there, you're going to see a natural blonde and more of a pale gold blonde. So this color mix is very, very similar. And I think that they're both cool, but also have some warmer tones in them. So sometimes with the Bombshell Blonde, I see a lot of yellow. On this particular application, not so much. But like I say, that amalgam of colors is very, very similar. So again, these are really super close. So comparing the Root color, there is a light brown on the Bombshell Blonde and a light brown on the Sunlit Blonde. Okay, I don't have my review up on this style. I haven't even filmed it yet, actually. This is the Chic Shot by Gabor in the color Soft Shades Sunkissed Beige, which is GL23101SS, so it's the rooted version. Now, this is described as being an icy platinum with some beige highlighting. For the most part, that is true. Depending on how much beige I see in this, it could really lean almost gray, and without the rooting it looks almost gray. It's just that icy and cool. But with a little bit of a rooting here, this is a very brassy toned light brown root there. So with the icy platinum and the beige mix here, we can definitely compare it to the Sunlit Blonde. Okay, this one has a little bit of sandiness to it that gives it a little kiss of warmth, as does the beige in this mix of the Sunkissed Beige.